boy, welcome back to another episode of Vaabs Podcast. Vaabs. I am your host, Captain Lebrazil. To my left is your other host, Davey, the most delicious of D's. And guys, it's a big one today, as always. It's been a season for it, eh?
Yeah, it's been a pretty good big one season. You know?
I just deeped it now. I'm like, I always say it's a big one, but like it always is. It's fucking nice.
Always helps.
Yeah.
Tonight's guest is part of a stalwart trio in South Africa's rock and especially psych rock scene. And ever since their inception in 2015, they've been pushing the scene with their unique sound, making them a staple across SA. Along with touring nationally, the trio started dipping their toes into international waters when they went across to Europe in 2022, playing Germany, France, Czechia, and Austria. And now more recently, they were back in Europe running off the Italian tour. But don't worry, they're back on home soil and pushing more than ever, bringing Dutch group Cloud Surfers for their tour across SA. Everyone, please welcome Jethro from the Tazers.
Yeah, what's up, guys?
How you, brother?
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Did you write that or did AI write that?
No, I pride myself
Well
on
done.
writing
Well done.
because it's literally Dill loves working with AI,
Dylan
and
AI,
Is he the AI
he'll do
boy?
everything there. And I'm like,
Sick.
I hate it so much. Yeah, I'll never write an AI. I swear.
100%. Jethro, man, how you doing?
I'm all good. How are you guys?
Yeah, man. Vibing, chilling, vibing.
Nice.
Yeah. So for our first question, we wanted to kind of give the people like a context. So if you could explain like the story behind like the Tazers, like how did you guys come to be? How did you form as a band?
Yeah, so as you guys mentioned earlier, we started in 2015. Technically, actually 2014. I was still living in Port Elizabeth at the time. Now known as Gqeberha.
Have to be.
And so Tim and I used to play for another band. Tim's the drummer of the Tazers. And we used to play for another band called Hey Bang Dead. It was like a ska, jazz, indie kind of fusion band. Very like surfer, coastal vibes. And yeah, I just wanted to channel a bit more like electric music. So I started writing like demos and like playing with an electric guitar and just like fucking around basically. And that basically blossomed into the Tazers, and I genuinely just wanted to make a more electric sound. And then the name the Tazers is just like, oh wow, it just works together. And then kind of just stuck. Yeah,
I love that, man.
That's beautiful, man. And when starting off, when did Varna come into the picture?
so Vanna joined the band 2020, I think. So he's only been part of it for the last 4 years. Before we had Guido, the dude with the afro,
Yes,
unmistakable. But he moved to Amsterdam and he had other plans. So yeah, Vanna joined in 2020, maybe late 2019 actually. And it's been pretty solid ever since. Yeah.
When did you guys move to Joburg then as well?
So I moved to Joburg in 2015.
Oh, okay, so it was
actually
like
on
this
my
is the
birthday,
pinnacle.
on the
damn.
29th of January,
Yeah.
2015.
You're like, we're going right now.
Yeah, and I came here to make rock and roll and make a thing out of it, dude. That was like my plan.
That's fucking
That's
badass.
beautiful, actually.
That's poetic, actually, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, on your birthday as well. Like coming
Yeah.
up to Joburg, bright eyes, fucking just make it happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, it's like you've seen as well that the scene change from 2015 to 2024 now. How have you felt it change, and is it for like the better or the worse in the grand scheme of things? Because it's like, I imagine the scene back when you started is completely different to what it looks like now.
Definitely. I mean, when I first joined the scene in 2015, Joburg had so many cool venues. There was like quite a thriving rock scene. I wouldn't even say it was underground because it was MK promoting bands.
No one
There
ever
was
knows
like-
MK. That's the thing that
there
blows
was
my
the
mind.
big festivals that were still supporting like rock lineups. So Rock in the Daisies were doing like
Oh yeah.
rock and indie as their main headliners. There was Opi Kopi. There was
Grandfest.
so many amazing festivals and like big productions. So from that elements, it's kind of scaled down a lot, but it's also given way for like the new underground scene to kind of like push through and take over. Because obviously with COVID happening and everything kind of shifting, a lot of things fell through, and then whatever like stuck kind of like pushed through the light.
Yeah.
And then like now we have like new cooler things that like the kids that were young back then are doing now, and there's like new productions and new festivals and stuff that doesn't necessarily have the big budgets of like the other festivals like Opikopi and Rockin' the Daisies, but there's love and heart behind it. And these cats are doing like such cool things from the underground, and it's like it's cool to see. So yeah, to kind of answer your question, it's a difficult thing because back then it was like this huge ceiling that I felt like I could never reach when I joined the scene, and now it's like I'm such a big part of it and I know so many people, but it still feels like, I don't know, like it's hard to explain.
I like that. There you go.
Like there's almost like a bigger ceiling to like the ceiling, that massive ceiling still there, regardless of like the fact that you're like so big, you still in your head think like, but it needs to, like, we need to keep pushing, or is it?
Yeah, so that ceiling kind of like in my head always rises. So we might have like hit the peak in SA and like played most of the cool festivals we wanted to, but there's like so many festivals overseas and like around the world and America and places we want to go that we haven't been to yet. And that's like how it kind of grows in my head, and I just want to like push further, you know?
Yeah, 100%, man.
It's a beautiful way to look at it, because like I feel like you can get very idle. Like I think there's a few artists in SA where it's like you can see that they've hit their peak and they aren't interested in like pushing the envelope anymore. It's like, I'm going to make radio hits and that's all I'm going to do for it. And it's nice to then at least be like, we want to push more. We want to go to these places the whole time.
Yeah, it does feel like radio though does, I want to say, support SA music better than it used to. Like that was one of the things I think post-COVID where I noticed like radio plays a lot more like South African bands and like
definitely
artists and things like that more. So
it's cool. I know like 5FM are doing like a huge kind of indie rock push at the moment with their charts. There's been a whole bunch of cool bands that play on there that you wouldn't normally hear on like 5FM. It's like before, like you said, there was quite a high filter to actually get through. So it was hard for like a rock band to get on such a big radio station such as 5FM. But then you also have cats like Mix FM, and I don't know about the others, but I know Mix FM plays a lot of like rock and indie and punk and stuff. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, and when it comes to like the music itself, like for you, like what's your guys' process like when it comes to like making tunes? Like are you trying to make radio hits, or is it like we make what feels right to us, or like just
that's a good question. I suppose we never ever try to make a radio hit. If it comes out that way, then sick. But I mean, from our side, we kind of just spend our time jamming in a room, and whatever comes out is the song, I guess. We always write like the riff first, and we jam that out, and we feel out different parts for it and like different ideas, and then usually after like one or two instances of playing it out and practicing it, then we'll have like a defined structure, and that will determine kind of the framework of the song, and then we'll record the drums or the drums and bass live, and then I'll do guitars at home, and then we'll write the melody like last. And I mean the radio part, if it works, but we never like think about that consciously. Like it's always like, oh cool, this would work for radio, but when we're writing it, we don't actually care. Like
it's kind of more like what you guys feel out, or like
exactly, like if we love what we're playing, we'll do it. If we don't like it, we'll be like, we'll scrap that song and we'll start again and write something else, you know.
100%.
Was there ever a song that you like made where it's like you're like happy with it, but it's like this isn't gonna be like the one that everyone resonates with, and then by mistake everyone was like, we love this song so much?
Like an unexpected,
like a dark horse kind of thing.
That's happened a lot actually. Like we always think, oh, this is the song on the album or the EP that people are gonna like love, and it's always like the opposite.
It's like that one
like,
that we
think
that
people won't dig. Definitely. That's, I mean, from our first album, I think one of the crowd favorites, or not crowd favorites, just like people who listen to the album, they really love the song Yours Truly, and it's like the slowest song on the album. It's in 3/4, and it's like there's no distortion at all. It's like so chill compared to like easy listening. I'm like, fuck, maybe we should write like more chill songs. Because
Okay, you also
clearly our audience wants this shit.
Much more chill Tazers.
Yeah, it's
still
chill.
electric, but not as much. Not as
More
electric.
reverb.
Oh, fuck. We're putting 808s in the song now.
Put a few edits.
So in terms of obviously like the music, like the process making it, how for you like does it feel like playing those tunes out? Like are there ever tunes that you like almost sound test when you're out and you're almost like, oh no, let's bin it, or like
Yeah, I mean, we can tell by how we feel the song when we record it and play it if it's gonna work live or not. A lot of the songs from our first album, we kind of knew that it was like way beyond our depth to even try perform live without like a second guitarist or someone else helping us, because there's so many layers.
Yeah.
And we kind of went like super far in production wise. But now we try and have like a pretty authentic writing style where it'll just be like pretty clean. We know we can play it live, and then we'll like learn it to play live and then get stoked about it. But sometimes you just don't get stoked about it, and you're like, maybe this isn't a live song. Maybe this is just an album song that people can listen to and they'll never hear it live. So,
All the time you're trying to work yours truly, and it's like, where do we put it?
yeah, I mean, I don't think we've ever played that song live.
Yeah, and everyone's like, come on, play it. It's like, we can't. It's we're headlining.
we
need distortion.
Yeah, it's like, no. Damn.
So
Yeah,
sorry.
there you go.
You
Oh, I was just going to go for wild fan experiences, because I feel like being in the scene as well for as long as you have. Has there ever been a chance where it's like, damn, this is a wild time?
I'll tell one story, which is probably the most badass. One of our first gigs, actually, we weren't even a name on like the South African scene at all. But I had some contacts in Grahamstown, and I heard that Shadow Club were coming through to play this one venue. Awesome band.
Yeah.
And we basically pitched that we opened for them, and we got accepted, and it was like one of our first gigs ever. And literally like one song in, there was 3 girls in the front row, and they all like flashed at us, like as we started playing the second song. So I was like, peak Tazers right there, dude. I could quit the band.
Yeah, it's like, guys, we've
played
done
2
everything
gigs.
we could.
I could quit the band. I'm like sick.
This is why you do it, man. This is why.
I mean, younger me would have like was so stoked about that. Now I'm like, I cringe at that. I'm like, oh shit. But I mean, at the time it was pretty fucking awesome.
It's like, don't worry about paying us. You paid me enough.
It sounds like literally like a classic like come up story. Like you like have no idea what's going on, but you ride the fucking wave.
The crazy thing is, I don't even think Shadow Club got flashed, bro. Like we just got super lucky, dude.
I don't know, I feel in the sense, because it's like, I'm sure you like look at Shadow Club like inspiration. It's like, we got flashed before you guys.
Yeah.
So in 2022, you guys obviously went on tour in Europe.
Yes.
So yeah, we wanted to know, like, from obviously like playing a lot of local gigs and like being, you know, big this side, what was the initial push? Like, okay, I feel like now, guys, time to go over, time to break that international gap, time to.
Yeah, I mean, we'd been planning it for quite a while. We actually had a tour like booked up and ready to announce, and then COVID happened, so it was like kind of delayed, and then we eventually got to do it in 2022 when things started like opening up. But the original plan was to go in 2019, but then obviously shit hit the window, and it was
just slightly.
Yeah. But yeah, so we'd been working on it for so long, and then we had to delay it, and then we were just like twiddling our thumbs, being like, oh, we gotta wait for these restrictions. But we had, like, in hindsight, we had more time to plan everything and get everything nice and organized admin wise and stuff. But yeah, it was a lot of hard work, a lot of admin. It's pretty hectic.
Did you have to ship all your equipment there as well, kind of with you guys, or was it like we're taking the guitars and we'll get the amps there?
Yeah, so we actually like MacGyvered our guitars on the planes because we like figured out a system where, like, if one of us goes to check in without our guitars, then he goes and checks in, and then he comes and grabs our guitars and waits on the side, and then I go and check in.
Oh, and
so
it's
that
like
they never see the guitars.
Oh, yeah.
And then you basically just walk through security with the guitars as if you've like checked them in. And then you just walk onto the plane with the guitars and then just act like it
should be there.
Yeah, it should be there.
it's like everyone's like, I got shouted at for my bag that was this big. How did you get a guitar this big?
Bro, and we've been doing it ever since. Even on local flights, and it works. I keep telling other bands, like, don't pay extra for like instruments, bro. Just walk on with that shit. It's like so chilled.
Big life hacks. It's like, okay, don't check in with the drums. We're gonna go with each one.
But yeah, so we brought our guitars and our pedal boards. Tim, our drummer, bought his snare and his cymbals. And then when we got to Europe, we used a company that's we basically hired a van with like the rest of the backline. So it was like a tour kind of bus thing, not like a bus, it was a van. Okay.
Let's not glamorize it. It was a van.
It's pretty scummy van.
But you're on tour. It's
But
like
was
it has
cheap.
to be.
Yeah. And then that came with like the backline, so our amps and Tim's like skeleton drum kit, and Vanna got this sick ass Fender. Can't think of what it's called now. It's like Fender Rumble, some amazing bass amp as well. But yeah, so we hired that all from a place in Europe, and they basically drop it off for you. We drive around with it the whole tour, loading it in and out every gig, and then at the end of the tour, we either have to pick up the driver and then they take it back, or we drop it off somewhere, and it's like easy handover. Yeah.
Did you end up dropping off the driver? Like, I just can't imagine the driver of a bus like that, like a van like that. Like the actual guy, like, yeah, I made to pick up the van.
Yeah. We had to meet a guy once in the Munich train station, and it's like, okay, cool, where are you? And he's like a guy from Czech Republic, can barely speak English, and I've never been to Munich train station before, so I don't even know where I am. And I'm trying to speak to this dude to be like, meet us here, we're here. I don't know where you are, but
the
we're here.
The keys in the air. Look for the key.
No, eventually I just shared live location, and like,
at least,
yeah.
thank goodness.
Yeah, we linked up after that, but yeah, what a mission.
What was your favorite country to play?
Sure, that's a good question. It's a loaded question, but it's a good question.
So much happened in between each town.
Yeah, I think we went to Europe in June this year, and we played a German festival called Black Door, which was probably like one of my favorite festival experiences, and the crowd just from the get-go went absolutely nuts. They were literally crowd surfing in between songs. Like, I'm talking to the crowd.
Yeah.
We're not even playing any instruments, and there's dudes running on stage, jumping into the crowd. Like, absolutely mental. Yeah. So I think for me, Germany is like peak. The dudes are just crazy, and they love the energy. If you give them like 200% energy, they give you 200% energy back.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And it's like you kind of feed off of that. But yeah, I mean, France is also great. We've played a couple shows in Paris, and that's also like, we played this really cool venue called Supersonic, and you can't even move. It's so packed, and there's people like right in front of the stage, and like basically falling into the stage while you're jamming. It's like, look after yourself, please. But it's also just like they want to do that because they're just so pumped. Yeah. So yeah, I think for me it's probably, I mean, it's a hard question because everywhere you go, it's like,
you think of like,
so cool,
like this from this place.
We also loved Italy. I mean, we recently did a tour in Italy now in July, and the people were just so friendly and so nice. They were so welcoming to like us being South African, and like just so friendly, and like it was so nice to just be there and learn like more of that, you know.
Yeah.
I think it's nice. It's almost like a reset where it's like people are like, "Oh, we're so pumped to have you! Like, come through, come through." And it's like, "Oh, damn, we're popular kind of thing." So I think you're in SA, it's like everyone's like, "Damn, Taser playing." I'm not going to tell them that I'm excited to see them. Like, I'm just gonna go watch the show.
100%.
How's the scene compared to like in Europe versus here? Is like anything that we could kind of pick up there, or is it they're
Yeah,
two
so-
separate entities?
I mean, the main thing for me that I've noticed is that, like, especially in Germany, all of the venues get what's the word I'm thinking of? They basically get funding from the government to keep their venues alive. So they get like a certain allowance, subsidiary or whatever. That's basically, if they open their doors as a live music venue, the German government gives them money to do that. So they don't rely on selling a lot at the bar and making sure the venues are always packed and stuff. They can really like build the scene and get cool artists through there to nurture that, as opposed to in SA where it's like DIY till you die and you have to like try and make money because there isn't.
Anyway,
You have to pay venue hire, or you have to like pay your headlining artist so much just to get people through the door. So that's kind of like the main difference in Germany, where I feel like there's just so much money behind it that makes it so much easier for touring bands to now come along, and then they can pay those touring bands a decent amount, even if it's not like a sold out show, you know what I mean? And SA, it's like, it's really hard to like break through and get to a point where you're actually selling lots of tickets and making money off of shows.
That's the big problem.
So I think that's the main difference, I'd say, here as opposed to there. The crowds, I mean, German crowds, the first tour we did, it was so weird. They just stood there with their arms crossed, like watching us. Like, it felt like they just wanted to see a mistake. They
It's
were
like they were writing an exam and they were like, "Come on, let's go."
zoning in on us. And I was like, the first 2 or 3 gigs, I was so petrified. I like, made so many mistakes, and I was like shaking because I'm like, I just want people to party and like dance. And
100%.
but I guess it was just like that first barrier of like, oh, we don't know who these people are, so I'm gonna just watch them intently and be very German about it, which is like very German.
Very German.
But I mean, in South Africa, people don't necessarily go out only to watch a band. They go to like party, to drink. Like most of the time, you want to see your favorite band, but if you're at the bar having shots, you're not going to be bummed about missing a song. Like you're it's more a drinking culture than a music culture.
Yeah, actually.
That's very true. Even when you went to Regan from Facing the Gallows, he had the same thought process where it's like a lot of people don't even go to the show to listen to the first act. They only go for like the main one or like the second one before that. And it's like, it's almost like it's not supportive in that sense, where it's like people could like be there for the show, watch the show.
100%.
Yeah.
I feel like it's such a like interesting thought, like the fact that it's like, because people have to make money here, the decision making from the people throwing the parties to the people attending the parties always like, it's different than if you could just book a lineup of like people that nobody knows, and it's just like you want to grow the scene, grow the culture, let people listen to those like sounds and those kinds of things. It's
super difficult because you kind of need like 1 or 2 big pull kind of bands just to make sure enough people even come out. You can put a lineup of like 8 of the most amazing bands, and I'm sure it works in the DJ scene as well, 8 of the most amazing DJs, but if no one really knows who they are, no one's going to go to that show because there isn't like the buzz around it. But if you have like 6 or maybe like 4 really amazing local bands that no one knows, and then 2 really big like headliners, then you kind of bringing those local bands into the headliner scene slowly by like getting people to see them and getting people to notice them. And that's kind of how you nurture it. At least that's how I found how to do it in South Africa, because it's like you have to like balance things out.
Exactly.
It's a weird thing. I feel like people in SA, because we've spoken about it before as well, and this seems like it's SA, it's like they're almost picky about what jaws they go to. Like it's like very like, I won't go to this if I don't feel like 100% ready to go kind of thing. And it's like, it's such a problem.
Like even when like we only started going to raves, I think last year, at the start of last year, like properly. And every time I tell someone like, oh no, come to a party at Sunday, just fucking sick. Like every party is dope.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't know, not my scene. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, but that doesn't make sense.
It's like you've never listened to the music.
Exactly, it's like a loose Saturday.
Yeah.
What else are you gonna do with your time? Go
Yeah.
to the same bar that you go to every other Saturday. Like just, try it out and see if you enjoy it on the other end,
Look, yeah, I mean, if they have never been here or they've never like actually been to like a cool venue, then they don't really have anything to say. You have to at least check it out once.
Exactly.
If you don't like it, then fair. That's your opinion.
Then you can
and-
tell everyone that, but don't be there like.
But if you haven't gone, then it's like, well, then you don't even know what you're missing out.
It's like, I don't think I want to. Why? Based on what?
That's like saying I don't want to have sex because I've never done it before.
I'd rather just gonna stay a virgin. Like I think it's for me.
So you're gonna stay a virgin your whole life?
V-gang, boy. Ain't never taking my card.
oh,
fucking hell, man. Yeah.
So now I'm just thinking about, imagine like Truth got government funding. Imagine the government
That's
is
the
like,
last place on earth that needs government
let's
funding.
put money into this snake park.
I think if it would still be a snake park.
Yeah.
Probably a better life, to be fair.
Is Truth still going?
I say unfortunately,
Like
but
you-
we've got our friends help run it, so we can't say that.
Love Truth, love them. We were there like 2 weeks ago. It was
Nice.
empty. Anyways.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But it was post H2O, so like, what are you
I
gonna do?
think I went there like once or twice, and I was like,
And for the exact
definitely not
reason,
underage. I was
definitely,
definitely 18.
You've never partied
Yeah.
underage, same.
Yeah.
can't do
Just
that.
for the record.
Yeah,
For
don't
the-
try to arrest me now.
And even if I was underage, I wasn't drinking. Oh, God.
Oh, no. This damn mic
Sorry,
stand,
man.
man. We're gonna get into a bit of a deeper one, yeah. Or not deeper question, but it's a loaded one. So it's like the mainstream growth of underground music is often seen like a double-edged sword, because it brings the popularity for everything, but it's also then comes at the cost of like almost selling out. It's not selling out, but in that sense, it's like kind of dilutes the crowds. And you're talking about it now, especially at the start of when you're talking about. Oh, what's that question? I've lost myself. Sorry, but it's basically like we're almost like it's. Would you rather have like your music go mainstream, and that sense more people see it, so you get more fans, so more people can enjoy your music, or would it be it's like you like the scene how it is, where it's like a bit more underground, and pushes that?
Yeah, I suppose it depends. Like, we are always going to do what we love doing. Like, our music is, at the end of the day, like our choice to make. And we want to make what we love playing and what we love listening to. So whether it goes mainstream or not, I suppose it like depends on our taste.
Yeah.
But I mean, from Tazers' perspective, like, we all fucking love psychedelic rock and rock and roll, so we're probably always going to be writing that. Whether it becomes mainstream or not doesn't really matter to us. We're just keen to do what we love, and that's the genre we've kind of chosen that we love doing. So yeah, I mean, to answer your question, I think it's a matter of authenticity.
Yeah.
Like, we could choose to sell out and just write pop bangers, but we would
That's
never
not what you
fucking
want.
do that. Like, maybe we could write like a psychedelic pop banger, which sounds pretty tasty, but I mean, it's not going to be
Still comes at the
it's
cost.
still going to be Tazers, dude. It's still going to have a little bit of psych rock elements to it, like,
Yeah.
you know. Yeah.
I think it's true. It's like, it's nice because it's like you can see with you guys, like, it's always like authentic, and I think that's what I enjoy about like the smaller scenes. Is like the authenticity is always there, because it's like I'm here because I love music. I'm not here
Yeah.
because I'm trying to make like everyone buy tickets and things like that.
But I think the thing with the underground scenes, especially in this country, is it's always a community. Like, it's always a bunch of like people that resonate, because it's like a niche.
Yeah.
I feel like there's like a shared understanding of like what this thing looks like and what we're all backing here and what we all want to succeed.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the thing about it being mainstream kind of, it always feels like it takes it away. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's something about like when you have a scene that's like, it's like, because it's your thing. It's like, this is ours, and we
Yeah.
love this thing, and we want to share it with as many people as possible. And then the wrong people find it, and you're kind of like, nah, you weren't supposed to
Yeah.
find it. This feels money grabby. I don't like it.
I suppose it also depends on like how you classify mainstream, because like for us, like people say, oh, you guys are like mainstream. I'm like, no, we're playing underground venues in Germany. We're playing like cool festivals in Germany, but there's a much bigger rock scene in Germany.
Yeah.
We're doing the same thing we're doing here, just in different places.
Yeah.
And if we were to be like mainstream, then we'd be writing pop records and trying to open for like who's that artist that's playing here end of the year?
Chris Brown.
Yeah. Like
Oh.
the Tazers would be opening for Chris Brown.
I would love to see a world where it's like you by mistake ended up opening for Chris Brown. It's like, how did we
I
get
mean,
you?
we would like flat out just not agree to that.
Yeah, it's
So,
like, no, fine. We'll
fuck
pay you this
that.
much. I don't care.
Not a chance,
It's like,
bro.
yeah, like last year, Nothing But Thieves opened for Kendrick Lamar. And
I mean, that seems like a really cool pairing. Like, I don't know.
It does feel like I feel like a fan of like interesting music like
Yeah.
decisions, but I think like most of the people
Oh,
there
that
were
was
literally
at
just
that
waiting.
Hey neighbor, yeah.
Oh, hey, Neighborfest.
I think the unfortunate part about it was it's like a lot of people they were so excited to see Kendrick that they almost took away from Nothing But Thieves'
Yeah.
set
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of thing. So it's like I hate that part where it's like people are like rude about it. And it's
Yeah.
like we couldn't stop the guy from getting like a sore throat and cancelling his side of the show.
Oh, Rema.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, if it was just Nothing But Thieves, everyone would have been excited for them. Then.
Yeah.
Exactly, that's
Yeah.
the thing.
100%. Yeah, I think it changed it because as well people are trying to get to the front so that they can see Kendrick. So
Oh,
there's
yeah.
a lot of Kendrick fans at the
Just
main
being like,
stage.
oh, what's this band?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, and that's the thing. They literally just sat there and it's like,
It was I'm a
So you
piano,
guys-
Nothing But Thieves, Kendrick Lamar. I was like,
That is
yeah,
that is like South African and not South African.
100%. No, those boys fought. I must be honest there.
it was a good set at least.
Yeah, it's a nice one. It's one of the it's one of those sets that like converts you. You know what I mean? Like when
Mm.
you watch like
Are you talking about Nothing But Thieves?
yeah, Nothing But
Oh
Thieves,
yeah.
not Kendrick. That was
Yeah,
alright.
I've kind of always been a fan of that band. I've been watching a lot of their releases, and it's good music. I mean, I don't like say I'm like a huge fan,
No,
but
yeah.
whenever they release something, I always go and listen to it, and I'm like, wow, this is actually really cool.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty good music. Yeah.
What do you listen to on your day to day? What's your daily drivers?
I think it's a mix of like psych, garage, rock, mostly. I do like a little bit of trip hop here and there.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you guys know the 24/7 beats to listen / relax to on YouTube.
Is it the lo-fi ones?
Lo-fi,
Oh,
like
yeah,
beats.
24/7.
Oh, dude, that stuff
Just
is
that
so
girl there with
chill,
the
yeah.
cat just writing the whole time.
That's awesome. If I'm like creating something or I'm designing something, I always put that on because it's like nice and mellow. But yeah, I think the bands I listen to, probably number one, Ty Segall, Tame Impala, Temples, Bass Drum of Death. Sure, there's so many. Wand. Trying to think. Meat Bodies. Yeah, it's mainly like garage rock, rock and roll, that sort of stuff. All
That's
them
beautiful.
witches. Yeah, just as the conversation goes on, I'll just randomly
Please
splurt
do.
out
Oh.
bands.
I'd like to rewatch and just type everything and like, there you go, got this.
After this, we're just gonna like make a playlist. Just be like, you said meat garage. No, that's not it.
The wagon goes in the garage.
We're learning today.
And then,
So, during your guys' like performances and stuff like that, like it seems like you guys, I don't know, there was like when we watched it like Millipop, like there was like a good few minutes where like you guys just felt like it was like just strumming out, like just jamming out, like as a band, and it's like, to me that stuff is always so cool. But is that part of your set? Are you like, yeah, we're gonna jam out at this point, and then it can last however long, and you
Yeah.
practice that, or is it like kind of just natural, like flowing?
So we kind of rehearse like a space to jam. So
Mm.
we'll have like a window of opportunity. We'll be like, okay, after this part, we'll jam for like, let's say 32 bars. And then we kind of just feel it out. And then we have like 1 or 2 cues to kind of bring us back. But everything in between is like just totally freestyle, yeah. That's cool because it feels unique with the crowd. That's why it's like people would want to watch you again because they never get the same experience. I'm never going to play the same solo or the same riff in that part again. And Van is going to be jamming something different on bass, and Tim's doing some crazy rudiments on the drums. So yeah, I mean, with that element, we love jamming. And like also all of my solos live, I don't generally tend to just know them off by heart. I have like a few notes that I know to hit, but then I just like wing it. I'm just like
beautiful, man,
hitting random shit the whole time. And like I've gotten so good at just hitting random shit that it kind of sounds cool. So
it was like, I love what you do with the solo. It's like, I have no idea what I was doing.
I'm like,
I blacked out after that one
I
bar.
wish I could do it again. Some gigs we play, we walk off stage and we're like, damn, I wish we recorded that. That
could
was
be a real
insane,
song.
dude. And we're never gonna play it like that ever again.
Let's run it back. Let's see if we can find it. Never finds it. Fuck.
I like what you do there as well, because I went to, I'm not going to name drop because it sounds rude, but I went to watch someone and they played a Park Acoustics and then they played another Joel. I saw them like 2 weeks apart. Song for song.
Exactly the
The
same.
same thing. Like, I at one point even made the same joke, and I was like, that's like, surely you're like, if you're not a
I want to
comedian.
guess who it is.
We can cut it out. I'll tell you right now. I don't care, actually.
Wait, who would you guess though?
It's a thing mainstream South African.
Is it a singer solo? Is it Matthew Mole?
As close as Jeremy Loops.
Oh, I was gonna guess Jeremy Lips as my second option.
Oh, I was so angry.
That was literally number 2.
He had the same joke about the guitar, and I was like, you played it at the same time, like.
Yeah.
Oh damn.
So yeah, I love the fact that it's like, we're gonna change this for everyone because you want to come see us.
What are your guys like rehearsal sessions like? 'Cause you said you had one last night.
Yeah.
Is it like very structured and like rigid, or you guys just like same thing, like just vibe out on this?
We usually just try to jam once a week. So every Tuesday night we rehearse for at least like 2 hours. And then we go through like all of our songs, and then we try learn or write a new song. We don't get to it every time because we obviously have like day jobs and we're tired and stuff, but we always try and like either learn a song that we recorded recently or like write a new song, or just jam a little bit and write a new riff and kind of like stimulate your mind every time we rehearse. Oh,
that's cool. Like it's almost like you guys get almost more in sync.
Yeah. I mean, it helps the consistency of playing like once a week and just like being with your band members and like spending time with them and like basically committing to jamming and doing like practicing once a week helps to like get that momentum going, you know, to just like get the consistency of like, okay, we're meeting on Tuesday, we've got things to discuss, we're going to plan this, we're going to learn this song, and we're going to rehearse all our songs so that if a last minute gig does come in, we're ready for it and we can always just go from there, you know?
Yeah. 100%.
I think it's such a good way as well to do it, because I imagine it's like you play gigs and it's like you've got so much in your head about like, oh, maybe we should like tweak this, we should change this, and then it's like you take like a tweak break and you forget about it completely. But it's like at least then the Tuesday you're ready. It's like still fresh. This way we should change this. We should add this.
After a gig, it's like, oh, exit suicides on Monday.
We're pushing.
Yeah, coach has got us. He's got us in a hectic session this week. I think we're gonna do it.
Big vibes.
Big vibes.
You also dabble in throwing events as well.
Yes.
With that 70s Fest.
Yeah, so I run an events company called Boogie Central, and we do that 70s Fest, which is the annual festival, and then we've just launched that Summer Fest, which is the one you mentioned earlier with Cloud Surfers. And then also do that Spring Fest, that Winter Fest, and like shows in between. If it's just like a small show, we do that 70s show. Or it's like usually based around a theme. That's my vibe.
I like that.
Yeah.
How did you get into it? Was it just a thing of like you were in the scene for so long, it's like we could definitely throw an event in that sense?
Yeah, so I mean, when Tazers first started trying to get gigs in Joburg, the scene being so big at the time, there were a lot of well-established bands, and it was quite hard to get on like bigger lineups.
Yeah.
So we were just like, "Fuck it, let's just do our own events. Let's just
I love
let's just make our own like fun. Like if no
100%.
one wants to book us, we'll
Book
book
up.
ourselves."
That statement is literally the most like
South African
yeah,
thing.
there's so many people who have sat where you're sitting and literally like, yeah, I know
Every
when I just
time.
started out, there was so many bigger me. And it's like, where did this culture come of like, you know what, actually, fuck it, dude, I'm throwing my own party.
But I mean,
And then it
that's
works.
how you do it.
But yeah,
Like,
100%
that's how
it works.
bands get noticed. They throw their own parties and they make themselves get noticed.
Mm.
Because you're never going to get noticed if you're just constantly opening for the other bigger bands and you get one gig every 6 months.
Yeah.
Like,
And also, no one ever
There's
sees
no
then how
momentum
good you
there.
are as well, because
Yeah.
you're playing like opening sets. So it's like, oh yeah, I get to play like slow.
Yeah, 100%.
yeah, so I mean, we started just throwing our own events. We started that 70s show maybe like 9 years ago, I think, 8 years ago. The first one. Played with like, if I remember correctly, it was Black Math, the Tazers, Miyagi, and Pollinator. That was the lineup. And it was at the Bohemian in Westdean. Just such a sick venue. But yeah, I mean, that's how we did it. And then it eventually just scaled up and got bigger and bigger. And then I kind of like built an events company out of that. And then we did the festival, and like that kind of worked. People were keen on that. And then we just kept doing it and kept doing more events. And it's just kind of like snowballed
Yeah.
from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so
100%.
sick.
Do you have like different, obviously with like throwing events and then being a member of the Tazers, like obviously wearing different hats, sorry. Which one kind of gives you, I imagine it's like obviously being like lead of the Tazers, but which one gives you the most like, I don't know, goosebumps when you do it? Or is it like equal, like when you're throwing a great party, like festival, and you're looking around and you're like, fuck's sakes, like, can't believe I'm doing this, or like when you're fucking riffing out there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good question. Yeah, if I think about it, like, I think the reward of like putting on your own festival. I've recently had help from the dudes from Ramfest, who have also been amazing to work with. Like the one that we did this year, we got like this monster truck stage. It was like so big, and we just had such a nice setup with like sponsors and everything. And it was like, I walked onto the site the day that everything was set up, and I just like, I couldn't believe my eyes.
Yeah.
And that feeling was like I wanted to pat myself on the back for the first time in so long, because I was like, damn, like shit, I was a part of doing this. This is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the most goosebumps I've felt, because obviously running a festival takes a lot of like admin and work behind the scenes that a lot of people don't see. Whereas like playing in a band is fucking fun all the time. Like, like touring is awesome. Like, yeah, there's hard parts. You're traveling a lot and driving around and stuff. But yeah, I think that moment when I walked into the festival grounds and I saw like kind of what I made, it was like, damn.
It's literally like, sir, you can't be. It's like, I run this operation.
No,
Please.
sir. You
You're fired. What? Sir, you can't. I work for a different company. You're fired.
You're fired. I can find you. I'm a judge.
But I mean, like, yeah, also playing on stage, like, it's a different type of energy, and it also feels amazing. Like, I don't want to take anything away from that. Like, yeah, it's also great.
Yeah.
Like, it does feel good when you walk on stage and there's like a nice packed venue, and it's like, wow, this is sick.
100%.
Yeah.
And the other side of it now as well, how does it feel to be able to bring like a Dutch group to SA, kind of like change the vibe a bit, where it's like you were going over, now it's like you're coming to us kind of thing? How's that feel?
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, I thrive off of like networking. So every time we go overseas, I'm trying to meet new bands, trying to make connections, because like I want to bring more people to South Africa, because I think there's so much potential here, and I want more people to see the awesome bands that like are in Europe and the rest of the world.
Yeah.
So it feels great. Like, I mean, it feels right almost. Like I want to do it more. I want to every show I throw. I wish I could put a headliner on. It takes too much work.
Yeah.
But I mean, we did Bong Lord 2 years ago. Was it? Yeah, 2 years ago in December. There was also a band from the Netherlands. We did a tour with them. They played Sonage, and we did a cool show with the Sonage crew. They helped us organize at Colorbox as well, which was so sick. Yeah, and then it's nice because I feel like the more internationals I start bringing to these like undergroundish events, the more the easier it's going to become to get bigger bands, because then they see, oh, these are cool events. There's like a little bit more hype around it, and then the snowball kind of effect keeps going, and bigger bands want to be a part of it because it's like something unique and cool. So from that aspect, I mean, I wish I could do more, but it's obviously time sensitive, like, you know.
Just getting started,
I think it's such a nice thing as well because it's in the thought process.
Excuse me.
No worries. It's in the thought process as well. It's like people trust like you and the party. So it's like, I know that like Boogie Central is going to bring good artists. Like I can trust the events. I can buy the ticket. I know it's going to be good kind of thing. So it's nice that you have that like weight behind you. Yeah. Where it's like, we can afford to do this and like people trust us with it.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the culture. I mean, my vision for 70s Fest is to like, obviously probably in like 10 years time, but to basically sell it out before you've even announced a single artist, because people know that there's going to be like 2 or 3 internationals and like an amazing local lineup, and if you buy the tickets early you get them cheaper, so it's like a win-win.
I think you can even call them like the Trust Us tickets or something.
Yeah,
like
we've done that. And surprisingly it works so well because you knock 50 Rand or 100 Rand off the tickets, and you sell 20 to 50 tickets off the bat on your launch without even announcing anything. So all you need is your designer to make the poster to just say Trust Us tickets on sale now, and you're good to go. You can launch. And then you can launch a month before like your headline is even like confirmed on contract or anything. So it's like it's like a kind of like a win-win, you know.
And so like have a bit of capital to like just make sure the deposit's cleared kind of thing.
That's wild. So I wanted to ask, like, in terms of the actual music itself, like, so you guys made the last album you guys released was I think 2 years ago, or EP, sorry.
So we did
Plastic Kids.
In My Mind and Self Control last year, was part of the Fuzz Machine EP. That came out last year in May. But before that we did Outer Space EP, and that was last year, I think Feb or something. But the last full length came out 2022. I don't even know, 2017 or something. Yeah.
So in terms of like that, what kind of brings you to the point where you're like, okay, we want to make like a full length kind of like entire album? What makes you decide like, oh no, let's just do like an LP for now? Or, EP.
We kind of like have been glued to the EP strategy because it just works so well for us. Also, like, modern listeners don't have like capacity for a full album, and like 2 or 3 songs, 3 or 4 songs in an EP is just it's like
more tight.
It's malleable. People can take it and enjoy it, and it's done. It's like quick and easy. It's like a short form content. It's like, you know. So we kind of stuck with that as a strategy with the Machine EPs, where all of our EPs were named after like a certain type of machine, and that was the strategy behind the EPs. But now that like Van is like a full-on part of the band, we've kind of like reassessed how we want to do things and we want to tie it in with our like European tours and stuff. So we're gonna probably be changing up that strategy for like next year and stuff.
No, that's very exciting.
Yeah.
That's such an annoyance in the sense like how like people like listen to things, or how people consume content these days, because it's so fast paced that it's like we can make an album but people aren't gonna listen to the last half most of the time kind of thing. So it's like, rather make it 2 EPs but listen to both at the same time, because I think it's 2 separate things.
I mean, that's the thing, and you can be a bit more consistent with your release strategy, because like once you release 3 or 4 singles, then you drop the album if you've got an album. But if you release 2 singles and you drop the EP, then 6 months later you can release another single, and then drop another EP, and it feels like you're way more active. As opposed to you just having an album. You could literally write an album, split it in half, and then say, okay, cool, we're releasing this the first 6 months, and this the next 6 months. We just have to call it 2 different things. But it's like it's the same body of work.
Oh gosh. And in terms of like the themes that you guys explore, like listen, wow, fuck today. From the we're cutting this. I haven't coughed once this whole episode. Figure it out. But yeah, in terms of like your music, like listening to it, there always seems like there's always like this theme of, I want to say like, it's that girl over there, and she's over there, and I'm over here, and that's about it. And sometimes she's over here, and that's great. But also sometimes she's not, and that's where does that like lyrics wise and like theme wise, where does that come?
Yeah. I suppose it's like almost like imaginary. It's like not really. It's not tangible.
Yeah.
I kind of like the idea of something. If you're singing about like a beautiful girl or something pretty, or like, you know, it's like way more appealing if it's like slightly out of reach. I don't know, and that's kind of always been the theme with like our other songs. Like, if I think of lyrics like "Shake It," how does this song? How does the song start? I haven't played it live in so long. I'm selling my soul to the girl on the dance floor. I've seen your eyes, baby, you're beautiful. And it's like, it could be interpreted in like different ways, you know. But it's like, it's almost like, yeah, it's tangible, but it's not.
But even that's what I was gonna say. Is what song was I listening to? I think it was Up in the Air or something. But it was like, it sounds like it could be about a girl, but also there could be like a metaphor that I just don't understand.
So you're going through your own thing, and it's like, man, this is about a girl. It's like, wait, maybe I'm just going through it.
It's like, that's weird that you would think that, because no one else thought that about this song. So yeah, it's just 3 quick fire questions, right, based off the lyrics in your tunes.
Yeah.
Just, you know. So in the song "Abominable," right, you say his girlfriend always makes excuses. Can you give us an example of one?
Oh, I thought you said abominable.
No, a bomb and a bill.
I was like,
that was actually the intention with the naming of that song.
Thank goodness, because he said it. I was like, Lebs, what fucking song is that?
So we have a quick fire round for you. Yeah, 3 questions based on your tune. So in "A Bomb and a Bill,"
I know it's
abominable. You say the line, "His girlfriend always makes excuses." Can you give us an example of one of these excuses that she made?
So it's not actually me saying that line, it's Tim singing that line.
Yeah.
But one of these excuses, sorry, my boyfriend can't go out, he can't be hungover tomorrow morning.
Well, that sounds like a very, that was from the heart.
That one's on my neck.
I don't want him to come home drunk.
Oh, that's amazing, man. Yeah, in the song "Up in There," sing the line, "I feel so good because I just got paid." Also, by the way that you guys like float on that song, like the fucking flow, oh my god, does it. Anyway, so the question is, what were you doing to get paid, and what did you spend it on?
Let's just say a gig, and we spent it on weed.
And
maybe a case of beer.
100%. But I feel like that's a leader into the next one. Vampires and werewolves. Yeah. Say the line, and it's so fucking poetic. "Love potions and cigarettes," over and over and over again. What's one drink that you would say is a certified love potion?
Sure. Love potion drink. Damn.
Every time you drink it, you're just
red wine.
That's.
I would probably say red wine, but because gin just makes you sad, bro.
Yeah, that's
and like
Brandy,
maybe vodka Red Bull if you're keen to go out on the night and meet a
it's like you're active.
Then you need to be active.
Yeah, 100%.
But if you've got an established partner and you want to like get intimate, then red wine.
Yeah.
That's it.
David's Teeth in 2018, testament to
sangria.
You've been hanging out in Bedford, I like.
The drink of the East.
He loves sangria, that side.
Oh, that's beautiful. Jethro, thank you so much for pulling through, bro. It's been amazing.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you
It's
so
been
much.
rad.
That's been
Our
beautiful.
final question is, what can the people be excited for the future of the Tazers? What are you guys cooking up?
Yeah, so obviously we have that Summerfest on the 30th of November at Sonnage, and we're playing with Cloud Surfers all the way from Netherlands. But next year we are doing another European tour in May,
Ooh, okay.
and we'll have a new album out by then. So
Album
That's
as
gonna be
well.
yeah,
There's
we're gonna do an album launch tour in Europe, and I think we'll probably hear your first single before the end of this year, because we finished the masters like yesterday, pretty much.
Oh,
So
damn.
the album's done.
Oh, that's so sick.
But now we're just chopping it in half, splitting it into
We're
7
making 6
and
EPs
then-
right now.
Then the album will become a full thing.
We're not writing another song till 2030, baby.
This is a 10-year strategy, bro.
Oh, fucking hell. We'd love to see it, man. No, Jethro, thank you so much, bro.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. It's
Yeah.
been beautiful having you on.
Mm.
And am I doing outro?
I mean, you can if you want.
You
if
do it.
like
You make me nervous.
That's completely different. Has nothing to do with what we're doing yesterday. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Vaabs Podcast. Go check out the Tazers on all the socials at the Tazers sex tape. Which one?
At the Tasers.
Okay,
Yeah.
at just the Tazers.
Sex Tape's another band. You should check them out too, though. They're pretty cool.
Check them out as well. But yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. For Dylan and Delicious D to my left, we've been Vaabs Podcast telling you to keep
Robin.
There's it. Woo, danko. Oh, yeah. Happy days.
Thank you.